And that takes us to our last segment. So what was set up on Tuesday is our start, sit, cut. We had Case Keenum, Tyrod Taylor, and Marcus Mariota as our three options.
We did.
And what are we looking at for the poll, Mike?
All right, so went a little differently than I expected, but on Facebook we got Marcus Mariota, 6 votes, Tyrod Taylor with 3 votes, Case Keenum with 2. We go to the Twitter poll, and we've got where the hell is it? Case Keenum with 1 vote, Marcus Mariota with 1 vote. So that gives us Marcus Mariota a resounding start, and we have a tie for our sit with Case Keenum and Tyrod Taylor. So we are going to be the deciding factor.
The deal breakers
on the start. Oh, we got our start. We're going to be the deciding factor on our sit. So I saw your vote on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and tell me why you're starting Marcus Mariota.
So we already kind of prefaced that we already have our starter in Josh Allen. That kind of sets up where I'm going with this. So Mariota, I think, performs more similarly to Josh Allen. All right. I think he's a much, lighter, not husky version of him. I think that he obviously didn't do well with previous team, but with the Raiders, when he's played, he's actually looked decent. There's been arguments by people that he should start in front of Derek Carr.
I don't see that at all.
I don't agree with it.
I think Carr is very underrated.
The only argument that I can make is that you could probably get Mariota at a budget compared to Carr, and if you're worried about the financials of it or something like that, that could work out. Or if you're like trading Carr for some high draft capital, then you can get by with Mariota for a season. But that's why he's our bench guy. Will be our bench guy.
Yeah.
Not that he should be carrying a team for a full season and more than one season. But for me, I feel like he's the best fit for what type of offense would be run. It was tough for me to not have Keenum in there just because I love Case Keenum and what he did with my Vikings. And the other argument that I would have for Keenum is that when he had that 13-3 season with the Vikings, I mean, he played well. His accuracy was off, but he was bailed out a lot by Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. Some great acrobatic catches and stuff like that. If you're going to have Case Keenum succeed on a team, you need it to be a team with a stable of stud wide receivers, and we're going to end up having that on this team. So he could be successful on our team as even a starter, I would think. So that's why, for me, he would be my sit guy. I'd want him on the team.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good veteran mentorship. He's had his highs and lows in his career. He can do well with a quarterback. But that would be the only reason why I would consider, or why I would consider having him be my starter. I just think schematically, the way that the team is going to end up being built, that Mariota might end up being a better option for it.
All right.
And then Tyrod, I like Tyrod as an average quarterback, but I've never been super high on him. I know he had his time with the Bills where he looked okay. He's had his time with the Browns. I don't see him ever peaking to where he was before, and where he was before was an average to above average guy. And so I don't think he offers as much value as those other picks, personally.
So I went with Case as my start guy. Then I would have had Mariota and then Tyrod third. And as you said, this is based on kind of who our starter was, right? So with Josh Allen, what you're going to get is some athleticism. That's something that Marcus Mariota can absolutely give your team, right? The ability to run. But one thing that holds him back, in my opinion, the reason I put Case in front of him, one thing that you see with a Josh Allen is the ability and the willingness to push the ball down the field. Case has got nuts for days, almost to a fault, because he will put some balls in bad spots.
Yep.
You saw it
Mm-hmm.
in Minnesota.
Yep.
It worked out with the Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah.
But he will push the ball down the field, which is what I'm going to get with Josh Allen. When I have my backup quarterback come in, I don't want to change my offense. And I think Case gives me that best option. We're not seeing a lot of called runs for Josh Allen. He just makes things happen. Whereas Mariota, that was part of his game, was called runs.
Yeah.
So give me Case because his ability and his willingness to push the ball down the field, play within the offense. Now, can he run? No. Am I going to lose that aspect of my game? Yeah, but I'm going to lose an aspect anytime I go to a backup quarterback.
Keenum can run. He's just nothing spectacular about
he
it.
He can get around the edge and pick up a couple yards, a first down if you need it.
He's
But he's
more
not
than
dynamic.
a unmobile quarterback.
Yeah, he's not dynamic like a Josh Allen is when he breaks the pocket. But I like the ability to keep my offense, keep the same passing concepts because I can push the ball down the field, which is why I knocked Tyrod down because he is not known for pushing the ball down the field. He is very much a safe thrower. He is dink and dunk 10 to 5 yards, and you lose a massive part of your offense if you do that. Another reason I had a knock on Mariota towards the end of his time in Tennessee, that's one of the reasons that he got benched is he would not take those shots. Even if shots were there, he wouldn't take. He was trying to play too safe. So that's why I got to go with Case.
Yep. I don't disagree with that. It's just a difference in I'm leaning more into Mariota's athleticism and the less mileage on him, I guess.
Right. Okay.
Whereas, but the same arguments that I was making for Case are the ones that you're making for him as well. So, yeah. Does that mean that Cases are?
I think Cases are sit.
This,
and then Tyrod falls to 3.
Yep. Bye Tyrod.
Bye Tyrod.
Tyrod.
And yeah. It's not Tyrod. It's Tyrod.
It's Tyrod,
Yeah,
apparently. Tyrod's cooler, but it's also
Tyrod
a
is
car
cool.
part.
But, I mean, no hate towards Tyrod. I was very excited when Cleveland picked him up. I was excited, when he started that first game. And then I kind of saw what people were saying, and I was like, okay, so there's going to be some issues. There's going to be some growing pains. I was really pulling for the guy when he got out to not San Diego anymore, L.A.
L.A.
And then he got fucking
jabbed with a needle.
And he lost his spot down there. He's probably going to start in Houston. I hope he does well. Out of these guys, he's going to be my number 3.
Yeah, it's kind of a rough situation for him being down there in Houston, honestly.
Yeah, he does not have any help. He's dealing with a quarterback room that is just in absolute fucking chaos.
Just complete shambles.
Yeah, and then the team doesn't have much of a future to talk about because Bill O'Brien fucking traded it all away.
Yeah, it sucks for him. It would be better, in my opinion, for his career, maybe not monetarily, to find a good, solid backup quarterback role for himself somewhere than to have been there. I think he's going for his last shot to show that he's got something and maybe, get a little bit more play as a potential stopgap starter in the future. But it's gonna be rough there for him.
I mean, he is a pro's pro. He could absolutely go and be a backup somewhere and mentor, come in and be a spot starter.
Yeah.
We've talked about this several times. There's nothing wrong with that career path.
No.
Look at Ryan Fitzpatrick. I love Ryan Fitzpatrick. But that's his career.
Mm-hmm.